Benedict, welcome to the sports segment here on the AM Show. It's a Thursday morning. We go into the stories, and Youth and Sports Minister Isaac Isiama cut short for the construction of a $2.4 million youth center in the Volta regional capital of Ho yesterday. Now, this comes exactly a week after the minister revealed in his Meet the Press session of government's commitment to power the youth and construct the multi-purpose facility. Moses Yeboah, my colleague, has more in the following report.
Government, through the Ministry for Youth and Sports, has broken grounds for the construction of a 10,000 capacity youth and resource center in the Volta regional capital, Ho. Speaking at the ceremony, the Sports Minister Isaac Isiama said construction of the edifice, which would be replicated in all 10 regions, forms part of the government's initiative to enhance sports development in the country.
Over the years, Ghana has had a gap, a huge deficit in youth and sports infrastructure. That is exactly the challenge we are addressing from now. Very important. The talents are there, the skills are there, but facilities, infrastructure, obviously missing for them to develop the talents and their skills. Go around the country, universities would have enough space for youth and sport development. Now, when you go, you see streets being blocked by kids to make way for space so that they can play a game. This is unacceptable and needs to be addressed comprehensively as a country. That is exactly what we are doing.
The Youth Resource Center, which is situated on 100 acres land of the Ho Adaklu Road, will house a FIFA standard football pitch, 8-lane athletics track, table tennis, handball, and other courts. Other facilities include an ICT center, entrepreneurship and counseling center, and a restaurant. The sports minister said the construction of youth resource centers is to ensure there is enough sports facilities in the country to enhance sports development. He added his ministry, which is peculiar about the management of the edifice, would provide the needed human resources to that effect when construction work is completed. However, traditional authorities from the Asogle traditional area who were grateful for the project impressed on the government to ensure a multi-purpose sports complex promised the region is constructed as well. The estimated $2.4 million Youth Resource Center will be constructed by Wilcado Construction Limited with funding from the government of Ghana. The project is expected to be completed in 9 months.
All right, so that was a report put together by my colleague Moses Yeboah. Still here on the local scene, the Black Princesses will embark on a training tour of their participation at this year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup in France. Now, Ghana are in the same group with the host France and the Netherlands, as well as New Zealand in the tournament, which will begin in August. Now, Nana Benyi is chairman of the Black Princesses Management Committee, and he's been speaking to us. For him, a lot have been put in place to ensure they participate well in this year's competition.
An agent who's arranged matches for all the women national teams, especially this year that they are all on duty. So thankfully, yes, I can assure you that yes, this time around, all of us will make progress.
Is it true you're going to have a month preparation outside the country before the competition?
It could even be 2 months. It could even be 2 months, trust me, because they sought for sponsors elsewhere, and they are all ready for us. We are thinking otherwise too, that the girls maybe 2 months outside, they'll be bored, they would want to be home before. So yes, it's for us now to sit and plan and determine, map out that strategy, which will not be counterproductive in the end.
Well, all right, so Nana Benyi Eisen and the entire Princesses team, they have the backing of GFA President Kwesi Nyantakyi to do well before and during the tournament. But in the immediate, the head of the association, I'm talking about Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi, he is thinking of getting a headline sponsor for the Ghana Premier League.
I'm very optimistic and very hopeful that this year we will get a headline sponsor. Yeah. And then you see that because of television, sponsors are attracted to the clubs, because if a sponsor gets space on the chest of a club's jersey, it will appear on TV, and that is a big mileage for the club. So start times coming on board is a big blessing for the league. These are some of the indirect benefits to the clubs, getting individual sponsors, apart from the direct money that start times is paying. And I'm happy that some clubs have 2 sponsors, some have 3 sponsors. No matter how small the money is, gradually they'll be building on the stock of sponsors. And then when we have a headline sponsor to add, it will go a long way to ameliorate the financial burden that clubs shoulder in running their clubs. But I am a club man, and I know how much it costs to run a club.
So that was the president of the Football Association, Mr. Kusinyantichi. Now, yesterday, the draw for the playoff of the CAF Confederation Cup was held in Cairo. And you know, Indiana Stars haven't dropped from the CAF Champions League. Now they are in the CAF Confederation Cup. They were also in the draw. Well, Indiana, they've been drawn to play against Forza Juniors of Madagascar in the playoffs.
An interesting night unfolded at the Nile Ritz-Carlton in Cairo on Wednesday as CAF held its draws for the playoff round for the 2018 CAF Confederation Cup, and the 2018 CAF Champions League group draw took place. South African Cup kings and runners-up in the competition in 2017 SuperSport United were the 9th team out of the pots and were drawn to face Kenyan outfit Gor Mahia with the first leg in Kenya, while last season's ABSA Premiership champions Bidvest Wits play their first leg at home but have a tough assignment ahead of them against Nigerian giants in Yimba. Other notable ties see Zambia's Zanaco FC take on 3-time Champions League winners Raja Casablanca, Sudan's Al Hilal host Nigeria's Aqua United, and giants from African football from the Côte d'Ivoire, ASIC Mimosa, welcome Algerian opposition for the first leg. In the Champions League group stage draw, Uganda's Kampala City, in the group stages for the first time, were drawn with Egyptian and Tunisian heavyweights Al Ahly and Esperance, respectively, while the 2016 winners of the competition from South Africa, Mamelodi Sundowns, have a difficult match day 1 as they welcome Wydad Casablanca, current champions, in a Group C matchup. Completing Group A are debutant in the group stages Township Rollers of Botswana with big names TP Mazembe, MC Alger and ES Setif in Group B, while Sundowns will also face AS Togo and Horoya of Guinea. Group D has a heavy Southern African flavour with Zambian side Zesco United, Primeiro de Agosto of Angola and Mbabane Swallows from Swaziland, also facing Tunisian team Etoile du Sahel.
So Indiana Stars Forza Juniors of Madagascar in the playoff. If they're able to win that game, Indiana will make it to the money zone or the group stage of the CAF Confederation Cup. Well, we have to do some more from the local scene now. Let's do stories from the international scene. And some months ago, or some years ago, he actually announced his retirement from international football. And just some few months ago, again, he announced that now he's available to play for his country. Actually, wanted to play for Ivory Coast in their coming international break, friendly, but he has also announced again that his return will not be as he announced because of family reasons.
Yaya Toure has pulled out of the Ivory Coast squad for their forthcoming matches against Togo and Moldova due to family reasons. The Manchester City midfielder was due to be making his return to the international team. However, Toure, who has 102 caps, did not turn up as anticipated on Tuesday and has informed the Ivory Coast Federation he will not be linking up.
Well, they didn't qualify for the World Cup, but they're still preparing. And teams that qualified for the World Cup are also preparing. So, you know, it's international break here. No major European leagues this very weekend. But the Argentina, led by Lionel Messi, are currently in England. They are preparing for the upcoming friendly matches.
Argentina's football national team trained at Manchester City's facility on Tuesday ahead of their friendly match against Italy at the home of the English Premier League leaders on Friday. Having been a notable absentee from training on Monday, Argentina captain Lionel Messi joined in after arriving in Manchester earlier on Tuesday. Messi has been in fine form for Barcelona this season, helping the Catalan club to a 9-point lead at the top of La Liga and into the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League. The fixture is the first of 2 tune-ups for Argentina ahead of this summer's World Cup in Russia, with Jorge Sampaoli's side facing Spain in Madrid 4 days later. Argentina started through their CONMEBOL qualification campaign before a Messi hat-trick against Ecuador on the final match day ensured the World Cup 2014 runners-up have the opportunity to go one better. Manchester City striker Sergio Aguero looks set to miss the opportunity to represent his country at the Etihad Stadium. City's all-time leading goalscorer could only watch the session as he continues to recover from a knee injury.
Well, so Lionel Messi and his teammates in Manchester preparing for the upcoming international friendlies, and England will also be in action. That's tomorrow. They will play an international friendly. So it looks like the teams that have qualified for the World Cup are all preparing for the competition, which kicks off in June. Now, they have to do some boxing, and next week there will be a big bout, a heavyweight bout involving Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker. Well, Joshua has intensified training ahead of what looks to be a tough bout against Joseph Parker.
Just over a week to go and Anthony Joshua looks trim, lean and happy. So much has been made of whether he will come in lighter than his previous few fights as he closes in on becoming unified heavyweight world champion.
Weight fluctuates for different opponents. Every opponent brings a different arsenal. So in terms of having one pinpoint weight for every single opponent wouldn't be wise. So in terms of Parker, you know, I think a certain weight category for me in terms of the heavyweight division, whether it's 115 kilograms, 116, 114, is relevant for the opponent. So I'm feeling good, and that's the main thing, regardless of whatever weight I'm coming in at.
With what appears to be less bulk on the shoulders and some quick footwork, it's clear the extra speed and sharpness will be a big part of his overall approach, as well as being mentally in a good place.
A happy fighter is a good fighter, so we make sure we do what's right. There's loads of different little things, like running at 5 in the morning. It's the old school. That's when people had to box, go to work, come back home, go to the gym. So, you know, rest is important, so I'm making sure I'm resting. I'm not getting up at 5, 6 o'clock anymore. I'm making sure I get my rest in so I can use all my energy in the boxing gym and for the activities ahead of the day.
And while the likes of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury and Dylan White are making plenty of noise in the background amid an increasingly exciting heavyweight renaissance, Joshua is adamant his focus is entirely on Joseph Parker.
I've seen that there's been a lot of talk about the future, but my future ends March 31st, and that's where my goal is, and that's what I'm focused on. And Parker, if he wasn't such a lively opponent, maybe I could talk about what's happening in the future, but I can't take my eye off this guy. You know, he's talented, and I'm sure he wants to prove himself to the world.
So despite the smile, when it comes to his opponent, Anthony Joshua is deadly serious. The eyes of the world will be watching on March the 31st.
So Anthony Joshua, you know, training there looks very, very trim ahead of that big bout against Joseph Parker, which will be March 31. Well, that's how we end sports this morning. Thanks so much for your time. And if you want to get more in terms of our sports news, get to the My Joy online sports page. And also you can follow us on Joy Sports GH on both Facebook and Twitter. I'm Benedict Osu. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.